What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Hope you're all doing well today. What a crazy day. Linz is actually uploading. Who would have thunk it? But special occasion, as always, when I decide to actually start uploading again, we have got everyone's favourite Brazilian track creator, Mr. Kevin Fuela, and he has released, which at first, when I saw the screenshots of this, I thought was another Fuela Ranch replica, because he has the, I don't know what animal skull it is, but you know the one in the Fuela Ranch logo. I'll pop it up on the screen over there somewhere, but that is not it at all. This is a fully custom track by Mr. Fuela today. It is, I wouldn't call it a compound as such, but it's just a ranch, I guess, or a ranch for you American folk. But we have a motocross track and we have a supercross track, both of which look incredible. By the way, the lighting on this track, I'm running my same reshade that I normally run when I play the game, which is the Hurren's reshade from the Hurren compound on MXB Shop, and this thing just looks absolutely incredible. I do always enjoy Kevin's tracks. I think he's got a very good build style, and in terms of like the norms and things like that, that's how you know Kevin's worked on it as well. He's got a very particular style that a lot of people really enjoy. So I'm quite excited to get into this. I'm going to be on the Yami 450 today, because I need to get a little bit more outdoors prepping ahead of the AMA season coming up. So what a perfect opportunity to do it. Basically, we're going to try and spin some laps. I'm hoping that I can do as nice a job as possible on this for Mr. Fuela, and I hope you enjoy. You can tell I'm trying to get some practice in as well, because I literally have a setup on called MX Testing, and I wanted to talk about, because a lot of the NA people have been a little bit unhappy with me recently. As you know, I've been commentating the EU GP side of things, and the last two rounds, so for both... Wait, what's round 4? Lugo in Spain and Kegums in Latvia, I decided to do the actual NA race, and a lot of people weren't very happy with me on that, and I completely understand why. The best way of wording it is, because the NA guys get the track 5 hours in advance, and a lot of them do sit there and play for that entire 5 hours, they then in turn think that I sit there and play the track for 2 days straight when I get it for the preview videos. It's not the case, but then it's only really my word that people can go off of, and I did check it with admins beforehand and they were completely fine with me doing so, but they were getting a hell of a lot of very unhappy messages from the NA folk. So I will no longer be doing that, which I'm sure you'll all be very, very happy about. I will still be commentating on the EU side of things though, but for the sake of Wes's DMs, and again Wes, I do apologise that so many people have messaged you about it, I will not be doing that anymore. But if you didn't have a chance to watch either Narvo's or B-Rod streams over the last 2 weeks, then I feel like I'll talk about it a bit, because it was two of the very rare occasions where I was able just to play with the boys. I'd hop in the call with the DDC boys and just have a fun time racing without having to try and record or stream anything at the same time. It doesn't get to happen very often at all, and NA races are very much a roller coaster for me. I'm not sure what coast servers they use for the races, but I usually sit in there on about 150 ping, and you know me, I'm the biggest advocate of netcode and bad ping being a big detriment in this game, and I still firmly stand by that. So basically, if you don't really get a good start and you're caught up in some chaos at the beginning, it's so difficult to actually come through the field, mostly because if you do have any just like light bouncing into somebody or some light touches, maybe you barely graze handlebars with each other, that was pretty sick, in a corner at low speed, the person with the high ping usually tends to come off worse and gets flung quite far. So it's been very, very up and down. If I go back to Lugo, then at Lugo, yes, I don't know why I keep forgetting the name, at Lugo in Moto 1 I had an awful start, went flying off start, and somehow managed to claw my way back to 3rd in Moto 1, which I was absolutely ecstatic by, because that was actually my first outdoors race since the Beta 19 OEM bikes have released. I haven't had a chance to do a full 30-minute race in a road on 450s on these bikes, so very, very happy with that. And then in Moto 2, a bad start again, but didn't manage to come through the pack so cleanly, just got caught up in a bunch of mess, and I ended up around 10th, something like that. Usually the bad races I tend to just try and remove from my memory as quickly as possible, and I thought it would just be a one and done for Spain, just because I was awake at that time. But then you know I absolutely love sand in this game. I don't know what it is. I vibe with it really, really well, and other people seem to struggle. And I really enjoyed the time that I had playing Keegums, doing the preview video and the hot lap and such. So I thought I'd give that a go. And out of the entire field of NA riders, I think I might have been the only KTM that qualified for that race, just because I've got a really good sand setup on it. And I disguised myself. I changed myself as old Mr. Gerbington. If those of you are newer to the scene, Gerb is a bit of an OG player. He doesn't really race anymore, just hops on with the boys for fun from time to time. Yeah, named myself Gerb to try and not get as much drama attached, but it kind of had the adverse effect, because then it looked like I had something to hide, whereas the... well, I'm just going to name drop Wes, who's the one of the mods. He was in the Discord call with me when I was doing it, so I wasn't hiding from the mods, I was hiding from the riders to try and avoid the drama. And I don't think I helped my case with the grinding accusations when I then went and hole-shotted and finished second in Moto number 1. Wash, by the way, if you get a chance to watch this, or someone talks to Wash and wants to clip it, Wash, you was riding absolutely insane all day. And I know you like the sand anyway. I've had good battles in the sand with you over the years. Most notably, was it... I think it was Lommel, not last GP season, the season before that. So GP of Flanders, like 2 years ago now, maybe. Wash is very, very good in the sand. And then in Moto number 2, down horrendous off the start. I think at the end of lap 1, I was about 44 seconds down on the lead. And I finished about 50 seconds or so down the lead, but I finished in 5th place, I think it was. It was going to be a 3rd, but got very, very unfortunate with one of the longest crashes in my life. The bike just kept bouncing and bouncing and bouncing. But again, just really happy with how I played. So yeah, I won't be doing that anymore. It was very fun while it lasted, but I can understand people's people being upset by that situation, so I do apologise. So we are going to actually try and talk about this track right now. I love, by the way, the drones. I'm not sure if you can work out as I'm riding around that these are drones above the track here holding up these banners, but very, very creative. I would like to have seen their blade spinning a little bit to get some animations in there. Maybe they are, I just can't see them spinning around at all, but I love that. I don't think I've seen that done on a track before. The track looks very, very polished overall, really nice. Giving some shout out to some of the community members as well, like got a question bale there. We got, oh my god, backflip again. 2 at the same time. Nope, not meant to be. Yeah, we've obviously got Kevin's own banners on the side. I saw some MTG banners dotted about. I see some Reaper Doc banners. Got all sorts of tracks and VMX stuff as well. Oh, since we've seen the MTG banners, selfless plug. I'll put an overlay on the screen, so I haven't got to give a massive spiel. But yeah, I do get some commission based on that from an affiliate link. So if you want to support your boy and you want to pre-order Motocross the game early, then by all means please do that. And enjoyable track so far. I'm not sure if I'm missing something at all, or if there's 2 motocross tracks. I only saw a motocross and a supercross in the list, unless it's a long supercross track, but there's tabletops over here that I haven't used yet. I might have to go and check something. But 1 second. I was indeed correct. It is just 2 tracks. However, if you look at the track map just below my my very pasty face right now, it's more of a hybrid. It's more SMX-y than I expected. So I'm actually fairly interested to give this a shot now. I thought it was just going to be a simple run-of-the-mill standard supercross track. I had no idea it was this in-depth. Backflip again, number 3. Lovely. Not a complaint as such on this game, but more of a question to just the general player, because I know I tend to look at things through a pro perspective on this game rather than general community side of things. Do you think that the OEM bikes that we have right now are too good? And what I mean by too good is not the traction as such, because I think the traction's actually okay right now. It's an okay balance between it being majorly overly slippery to slow the racing down and still being grippy enough that people can enjoy the game. What I mean by too good is the suspension and the overall handling. So the front end is very, very stable. Like, the speed that we can push in some turns is actually gross. I don't think you'd ever be able to get away with it in real life at all. But then you don't really have anything to worry about in terms of over jumping or casing anything now. But I can flatland this, no problem. The bike doesn't bounce. As long as you land rear wheel first, lean forwards and accelerate when you land, the front end stays pretty damn planted the whole time. And same really does kind of go for casing things. You get an idea once you've spent a disgusting amount of hours in this game what's going to happen as your casing. It's either going to be a super hard case in which you can turn it into a backflip, like I've already done 3 times just in the short space that we've been recording so far, or if you come up barely short and you can just lean the right way and just ride away from it. And I'm curious to know other people's opinions on that. I know some people will absolutely love it because it makes the, I guess, ease of access to getting into the game just that much easier. I do think if you're picking up the game now, it's the easiest to play as it ever has been. I mean, last beta you could argue because it was even grippier last beta, but the front ends weren't as solid as they are now. So I think the game to just play in general right now is as easy as it possibly can be. But do you think it's too easy? Would you like bikes to be a little bit more difficult? Because I know it's definitely treated more of an arcade game than the simulator that it claims to be on the Steam page these days. So I'll just throw in food for thought out there. I'd be very interested to know people's opinions on if you think the bikes are too good these days. And then again, this one is a little bit more of a moan, but we are... How many rounds have we done now? So we've done 14 rounds of Supercross, and we've done now 5 rounds of the outdoor, well, out of the GP season. And I'm not sure that the road that we're currently getting is making for the best racing experiences. Now, what I mean by that is the road's never been great in this game, but for whatever reason, obviously I'm not part of the OEM team anymore. I don't see the actual files. I mean, I never got to see the files before. I just got sent them to be able to test bikes. So I don't know what goes into making the tyres and how it changes depending on like the traction, the road that it makes, the G-forces going through the ground, so on and so forth. But the road's just odd at the moment. So you would think that in a game like this, one road would be the right amount of a road to run, because it's as if that's the normal amount of road. It's one bike going around the track and that's that. But I know Keegan's is a bit of an outlier because it's a sand track, so of course it's going to erode quicker. But the EU race on Monday at Keegan's was on 0.07, not 0.7, 0.07 erode. And the track was absolutely chalked by the end of the first moto. And I know a lot of it is to do with base game as well. I know Proposo has made changes over the years to try and change how the erode works and try and like, avoid the death spikes that we get and vortex ruts. We still get them, so it hasn't worked, but he's tried. That's I guess that's all he can do is try. But then I know the OEM bikes come into play as well, because it's only since the 19's release that we've started getting these really strange, over the exaggerated kickers as well. We've always had triangulated ruts. That's just how the game is, and the engine that it's built in, that's always going to happen. You do get a decent amount of triangulation in sim as well, unless they've worked on that since I was heavily into the sim competitive scene. You'd have to let me know down below how the sim road is these days, if it's smoothed out compared to what it used to be. And I'd like to see it maybe addressed. At the same time, really, I know they mentioned that the beta was fundamentally broken, so like the values that it shows when you go into the info part of it in the pits, it says it's got a certain amount of power, but it actually has more, which is why it's been banned in aerial. I'd like to see just a quick update to fix the beta as well, because it'd be nice to just have another bike option to ride in general, rather than it just being straight up ruled out of competition. And then maybe also just their thoughts on the tyres and if they have any plans on changing it. I understand that those boys do need a break after spending months and months and months doing a bunch of testing and then finally getting all the bikes out. I think there's something just ridiculous, like 50 plus bikes spanning across all the different classes, so it is a lot of work. But I'm curious. I mean, maybe there has been a communication on it and I've just missed it, because I mean, some Discords I do tend to visit multiple times a day, but the others I just tend to end up muting and don't really look too much. But let me know your thoughts in the comments down below on any of the subjects that I mentioned in here. I don't mean for it to come across as moany either. I'm just generally curious, and I'm more questioning of the future of the game right now, because I've said this on stream a few times, but I don't mind mentioning it in the video as well. I genuinely thought once more information and gameplay for MTG was coming out, I thought that MX bikes would finally get the attention that it deserves, but it still hasn't, really. I thought the game would then finally get all the updates, all the quality of life stuff that it needs, so I'm very curious over the course of the next year, basically from this point, because I mean, I'm guessing this, what's the day today? 23rd of April. It's going to be, yeah, basically a year from now, once MTG would have been out for a couple of months. I'm so interested to see what the motocross gaming community landscape is looking like. Because, again, MESX seemed to be a bit of a hit with some and a miss with a lot of people. I tried to give it an honest shot, but I couldn't find myself enjoying it past a couple of hours. If you enjoy it, by all means, feel free to. I'm not saying you're not allowed to enjoy games at all, it's just not for me. Yeah, that being very hit or miss. I think Legends is still doing its thing. Legends is still getting updates, and a lot of people are vibing with Legends these days. People say it's the best it's been after numerous game updates as well. I might have to return and give that another go at some point. And then really after that, there's nothing that really bridges the gap. I mean, Bikes is then the next most arcadey, and then for now, Sim is like the realism one. So I'm interested to know how that landscape will change once MTG releases and where it slots in around these other games and how it does overall. I mean, the testing that I've done on it so far, I've got about 8 hours total game time on it right now, and the physics are probably not even a quarter of the way there. I can tell from just the base physics that it will be my kind of game and I'll really enjoy it. So I'm interested to see how it slots in everybody else's just gaming experience and what they want out of their motocross games. If they want it to be really straightforward and easy, or if they want a slightly more challenging experience. So I'm intrigued, let's say. But one thing is for certain, when it does come out, you're probably going to have to try and pay me to stop streaming, because I'm going to be grinding the absolute life out of that game. So keep an eye out for that, and then we'll probably get a whole bunch of fun public lobbies on the go, and I think it's going to be a good time. Just something refreshing as well, you know. I mean, I've been playing Bikes for over 4 years now, I think. I think it's been just over four and a half-ish or so. It's a long time to play one game. Eventually you do get tired of the same thing, especially when it's not really progressed too far in that span of time. One thing that I want to do, I'll say this just before I disappear from this video, one thing I would like to do at some point, it might even span over a couple of streams, I'd love to sit down with you guys and watch old MX Bikes races. And what I mean by that is like my 2022 Supercross season, for example, before I became hella washed at the game, just to kind of go back through memory lane and see what the game was, see if it was actually good. Or I was going to say gooder, that is not correct grammar at all. See if it was better back then than it is now, or if it's just nostalgia taking over, because nostalgia is a hell of a thing. So let me know if you'd like to see that, and if it's one of them that you'd rather see sooner than later, because I think it would be nice taking a little trip down memory lane and watching the old stuff and seeing how the game played, because some of you have only just started playing this game over the last year or two, so you didn't get to experience the beta 17 days when Boboso decided to release an update 3 rounds into a Supercross season and completely changed the way the traction worked, and it was like riding on ice. Even in 4th gear, quarter throttle on a 450, you were just spinning the back end everywhere. And this game's had some very, very interesting times, and it is very much a love-hate relationship. I do think I love it more than I hate it, and the only reason I do tend to get annoyed with it sometimes is because, again, I look at it from a top-level player perspective, where you're trying to get every little percent out of the game possible. So of course, when you're pushing a game to its limits, you're going to get wonky stuff from time to time, and I think that's why the opinion is shared amongst my peers as well, because they are also in that same space rather than just playing it super casually. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I haven't really talked about the track much at all, which to Kevin I do apologise, and this track, it might not even be out yet by the time you watch this. He's sent this to me on the night of the 22nd. I'm now playing it very early hours of the 23rd, and I asked him when it was going to be out, and he said it's been submitted to the shop. It just needs to go through the approval process. So it might be a day, it might be 2 days, but it will be very, very soon, and I hope you guys will enjoy it as much as I have. This Supercross track is really, really good. We don't really have many SMX-y type tracks in this game, so I'm happy to be getting more of that, and Kevin, you've done a very good job. The track looks phenomenal. It rides really, really well as well. And although I might not have done the best job of showing it off right now, because it's very hard trying to learn a new track whilst waffling at the same time, but hopefully I've done a good enough job for people to realise that you have done a good job in creating it. So thank you very much, and thank you for thinking about me as well when asking if I would like to cover it for you. I do appreciate the consideration there. So if you did enjoy the video, please do drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new, all of that lovely stuff. I hope you have a lovely rest of the day, whatever you're up to, and I will see you all in the next video. Almost went down. Peace.